And welcome back, everyone. I actually modded the game a little bit more. I'll actually bring it up here. Voila. Okay, I didn't mean for it to do that. Up here, like, you're missing, like, the Darkspawn Chronicles and all that stuff, but I've installed the Dragon Age Origins mod manager, which allows me to basically control the mods and be able to know, okay, so this one's in, this one's not. So as you can see, I've added in some new ones. One improves the atmosphere. It makes it more lively, like less dead, where there's just a couple of NPCs standing around and whatnot. I went to Lothering, although that was probably a bad place to test it because that place is crowded as is. But I'm gonna, play around the game a bit more. Even if it doesn't work off the get-go, I'll figure out what I did wrong. Look at the how-to. Otherwise, I followed it to the letter that it put in, so it didn't take me that long. It only took me like a couple minutes to get all the files sorted out and whatnot. So I added in a little bit of armor. Some of these I may need to actually look and see what exactly they did, because I did this last night right before I went to sleep. I was like, I wonder if there's a mod where I can have more companions with me at one time. There is, but it's a console command, and you don't get to use them like you would your regular 3 companions. And there was one I saw that allowed me to have the dog as a summon companion, but again, I'm not for that. So 3 companions it is, and I will show you the armor I got. It's actually not that bad. Plus 3 dexterity, reduces hostility. I mean, obviously the armor I have now is better, but I figured that armor would go good for... Okay, never mind, nobody can wear it yet, because they don't have 20 strength. Alistair should be able to. Okay, it's restricted to a rogue. Let's see here. 20 spirit resistance, bruise backstab, plus 4 dexterity, plus 5 armor. I'll take the boots and gloves for now. And I guess it changed the shield of Highever's icon. Oh no, it changed it completely. I actually like that look. Too bad I'm not a warrior, otherwise I would be using that shield. But otherwise, yeah, everything else is generally the same. Although I think one of the mods actually tweaks some of the... whatchamacallit. I need to give that to Morgan. Do that. Alistair. Yeah, I was gonna get that one to you. Morgan, you get that one. Liliana, you get that one. Those. Alright, and that's that sorted. Oh yeah, I was gonna interview Morgan. Just get to know her a little bit.
I await your command.
So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
And did they speak back?
Don't be foolish. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
Can't imagine Flemeth was pleased.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
I have a hard time picturing you being heartbroken.
That is because I learned my lesson well. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. They made you stronger, didn't they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Inspired minor magic.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Sort of. Is Flemeth what she really seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
Nutty old bat. A powerful Malefica. Yeah, actually a nutty old bat.
Sometimes I do wonder the very same thing. Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I'm more interested in the truth.
I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
Alright.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
And just how long ago was this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden.
Holy shit, she's old.
The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord, who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
Seems like a fair deal.
Aye, it was. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement in the first place. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
So she truly loved Ozen then?
That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Which? She never invaded, or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
And do you believe her version? Yeah, how is it that Flemeth had survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Does the legend of Flemeth... Yeah, the legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters?
You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak it then?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may
Wow.
be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
You seem very content about that. And do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
Interesting story.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
I love her. What else do you want to know?
Nothing. I wish to know nothing more.
Alright.
I find myself a little envious, to tell the truth. But it matters not. Let us move on.
+7.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Are you really Flemeth's daughter?
I assume you were actually asking whether Flemeth herself gave birth to me. Truly, I do not know. I once asked Flemeth that very question, and she merely laughed at me. 'Tis not inconceivable that she could capture a chastened man, or perhaps change to a more attractive form to attract him willingly. I find it more difficult to imagine her with child.
She was not, well, obviously.
It seems likely, does it not? In an animal form, a babe could easily be spirited away and raised as Flemeth's own. I do know the tales of Flemeth having many daughters, even though I have never met another. And Flemeth has always treated me as her blood.
She doesn't seem very motherly.
Must one be a doting and simpering moron to be considered a suitable mother? Flemeth taught me everything I needed to learn. How to survive, the meaning of power, the truth of men. If other mothers do not teach these things, then I believe them the lesser.
Is there no place for nurturing and love?
Room for coddling and weakness? Why should such things be desirable? To indulge in love is to indulge in delusion. Surely a Grey Warden such as yourself does not believe otherwise.
Well, that sounds very cynical.
Cynicism is a trait of the true survivor. Considering your situation, you would do well to remember that.
And I lost that approval.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Did you grow up in the Kokari Whale? Oh yeah, have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
Uh-huh. You are cute when you're evasive.
Really? Perhaps we should be wrapped in ribbons and adorned with flowers. So cute are we, too. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
You found it fun?
I found the game fun. I was too young to understand the truth behind what was happening. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Yeah, did you actually kill them all?
Me? No, I never did any of the killing until later. And even then, Flemeth was a glutton for that sort of thing. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
And don't you regret hurting those men at all?
Would they have regretted hurting me? I was a young child. Yet do you think they would not have gleefully held my head aloft as a trophy? There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, You must survive. Do you disagree?
Yeah, actually, I do agree with her logic, at least from her standpoint.
An enlightened view, or at least an agreeable one. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
But I have one last Oh, she got a disapproval out of that one.
I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Well, obviously, Flemeth taught her that.
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
It's my favorite way of annoying you. Oh, wait, you can probe me anytime.
Beg pardon then while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
But you kept going back to the wilds?
Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
I can just imagine.
I rather doubt that. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
Ah, quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
What, like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There are many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Yet, here you are.
Yes, here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Okay, well, end of that on a positive note. What is her approval rating for me? What is my approval rating with Congress? Surprisingly, it's actually higher than Liliana's. And I would think Alistair's. No, it's roughly the same as his. I think Sten approves of me the most. Or wait, no. Fenris does. He always will. There is no way, shape, or form that you can get Fenris to dislike you. Now I'm actually going to talk to this guy over here.
You're a hard man to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader?
I'm Luca. Never heard of you.
Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's. Well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
And what promise did he make to you?
Well, as you know, my family's name is mud around noble circles. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Olin banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
Oh, sorry, folks. Bit drastic.
And then some. Not much is known about that time. After King Arlen died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
Well, good for you. So what favor did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honor.
Never even heard of it.
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arlen's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honor.
And what do you need from me?
I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least?
I laugh in the face of danger. I almost said faith of danger.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Now we're actually going to move on. Yes, I know. Sorry if you got bored by the conversations, but I just figured I'd get you guys familiar with who we're working with. And of course, build my reputation with them.
Indeed.
Okay, so we have the Lake Kellenhead Docks, Ben Lauren's Lands, we'll go there later. Citrus Pass, Redcliffe Village. Ah, there's where we need to go. And then Ferelden's right there. That's Orzammar. That's where we were from the get-go. I don't know where Highever is on this map. I would think it would label it. Evidently not.
Here we are. Soldier's Peak.
Looks lovely.
Make us breath. Look at the size of her. What a fortress. I told you the map would get us through the tunnels.
No, just admit it. You were lost a couple of times.
I wasn't lost, it's just that the map got soggy.
Excuses.
We're here. So, I'll follow you about, from a distance. This place has the stench of death. I expect there's trouble up ahead.
Trouble, schmubble.
Looks like it's seen better days. Better centuries, more like.
Once the wardens flourished, their ranks full, their caliber certain. Now they even accept people like you, Alistair.
Hey!
I almost feel sorry for Alistair. Almost feel sorry for him. Whoa.
Fall back! Fall back already!
Taking the peak will not be easy, my lord.
I gave the Wardens one chance to die with honor. Instead, they hole up like cowards. We follow the King's advice, then. Starve them out.
But the peak has months of supplies.
Then we wait. When they are too weak to lift their weapons, we will send them to their final judgment.
What was that? Felt a bit woozy there. I'm not mad, am I? You saw it too?
I've heard an Orlesian ballad about something like this. A beauty trapped in a dream. In the song, Belisa never wakes up.
Your prissy friend here is making me nervous, Warden.
She has that effect on
Is this
people.
even possible? The place must truly be haunted.
World is full of mysteries.
Yes, Warden.
Okay. Oh, hello. Who are you? Oh! Oh, these guys aren't that tough. Ooh, beheaded.
Lifeless bastards.
Lifeless bastards.
Here we go!
Knock me down, will you? Ooh, and another one beheaded. And I think I just got a text. Oh. Statue. Hello? Oh, there's more of them. Warden Master Scout. Get in here, dude. Whoa, 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 whoa. Heal up, dude.
Victory! Okay.
Holy shit. Heal up, I said. Okay, where did you get that sword? Oh, nice! Fatality. Flawless victory. Oh, wasn't really flawless. Still, nobody fell unconscious.
Right.
No, where'd what's his pants go? Oh, there he is. Now, what is that sword you're carrying there, Alistair? Sir Garland's sword. Oh, they changed the appearance. One of the mods must have done that. He changed that one's as well. Oh, he did. I can give that to you for your secondary weapon. Oh yeah, I need to give that to Morrigan. Actually, I wonder if the mod adjusted her robes. Nope, still look the same. Okay, is there anything over here? That would be a no. Alright, so let's go see what's causing the undead to rise up again. Arthas, what have you done this time, you bastard?
The men's morale is low. My spells are of no use in this matter, Commander.
There is more to leading men than sorcery, Avernus. I will remind them that they're wardens. Men, I won't lie to you. The situation is grim. Our forces outnumbered, our bellies empty, and our hearts are sagging. But we are wardens! Darkspawn flee when they hear our horns. Archdemons die when they taste our blades. So are we to bend knee to a mere human despot? No! I, for one, will never give up! I, for one, will never surrender just to dance on Arlen's gallows. So I propose here and now, in these hallowed halls where generations of our brethren stood vigil against darkspawn and evil, that we send a message to that fat bastard. In this sacred place, proud men, strong men stood defiant, and would rather die than submit to tyranny.
So brave, even when starving, and my great-great-grandmother stood with them.
Can't believe the king attacked the Grey Wardens.
Everyone knows they were banished, but to murder them like that, King Ireland must have been a monster. But I've gabbed enough. Lead on, my friend.
I don't know much about King Ireland, but I know he's basically the reason why the Wardens are so few on numbers. Statement of Defiance. Poster reads, on these grounds, virtuous men stood against the tyrant. They stood defiant and stood for freedom, and they died. It is signed by the Grey Warden defenders, who were besieged by King Ireland's forces. Captain Milo the Black Ferret, Cherthor Lopez, Sir Derek of Orlais, and Jason the Longbow. Ellen the Quibbler, Cartography Martyr, David the Silent, Dustin the Colorblind, Ebinger of the Bovine Brethren, Farrell the Feral, Sir Graham the Untiring, and Jason Sans les Argonauts. Langley the Nefarious, Lucky Lacuna, Mad Dog Smeadows, I don't know why I said Smeadows, Matthias the Bloody, McGurk the Vile Priest, Melissa the Magical Malefactor, the Stretched, and Packrat Dirksen. Sergeant Red Morrison, Santos the Silent Skimitter, Patriarch Eric, Weak Eye Santos, and Wellburn the Exhaustive Fire. It's a lot of people. Names that I know nothing about. And we went the wrong way. Typical. Knock knock. Ooh, an arcane horror. Whew, nasty. Alright, with him, use that. Whew, that fireball was a nasty attack. So it looks like demons are behind all this. A note. Letter from Ban Mathian Wolf. Notes. There we go. Sophia Arl-Ruahan and his entire family have been slaughtered, even the children. Okay, so it sounds like King Ireland was just basically off his kicker, you know, batshit crazy and whatnot, and people were saying, hey, Grey Wardens, you're heroes, help us. And they decided to, and King Ireland called them traitors. Technically, that does go against the vows.
Let's make this quick, shall we? Stay still. Here we go.
Ooh, Morgan leveled up.
Have at you. Let's get started. Have some fun. On your guard. Right. On it.
Take all. Take all. Heavy chainmail gloves, steel.
On it.
Note. Another one at least. Plea from Commander Athler. Soldier's Peak is more than we bargained for. There is sinister magic at work here. Interesting.